In this video, I am going to go through the movie Pandorum and point out every point where they should have died and why you would too. Since none of you are going to make it to the end of the movie, go ahead and leave a like and please consider subscribing. The first point where you would have died is back on Earth. Let's face it, if the world leaders are picking humanity's best and brightest to continue the species, neither you or I are going to get on that ship. They don't really tell us much about what happened back on Earth. They just say that resources are running low. My guess is that some kind of nuclear war broke out over the diminishing resources, but whatever the case may be, we would get a front row seat to it, which might be a better fate than getting ripped to pieces by these things. The movie follows a Corporal Bauer, which is Ben Foster's character. He wakes up in some kind of hibernation pod. He gets out, puts on some clothes, and tries to open the door, but it's locked. So naturally, his response is to repeatedly bang on Lieutenant Peyton's pod. He fails, but luckily enough for him, a power surge opens up the lieutenant's pod. He tells the lieutenant that he can't find any of the other crew members. A side effect from the long hibernation is some memory loss. They get to the comms room and activate the consoles to try and contact other teams on the ship, but no one is answering. This is a very bad sign. At first, the doors were sealed shut and now no one is answering the comms. Well, either there is some kind of malfunction, or there is no one left to answer. After another power surge, Lieutenant Peyton tells Bauer that they have to go to the bridge, and since shit rolls downhill, it's on the corporal to try and get there. While walking through the ship's corridor, he sees a woman trying to pry open the door with a metal rod. She runs away as soon as she sees him. He chases after her until he runs into a hanging corpse, which is just really a glimpse into your future. A woman whose name is Nadia jumps out and kicks him in the face. After he gets up, she trips him and gets on top of him, pinning him to the ground. She takes his supplies and while holding a knife to his throat, tells him to take off his shoes. Sorry, but I don't think this is how it would go down. Given their situation, she would not let you live. She would cut out your throat and take the shoes off your corpse. This is the second point in which he or you would die. Luckily for Bauer, she hears a screech that makes her run away. The first look we get of these creatures is when Bauer is hiding and one of them is searching around the glow stick. The next point where we would meet our maker is when Bauer is hiding in one of the vents and Lieutenant Peyton calls for him over the radio, when one of the hunters hear it and rips open the vent. But luckily for Bauer, it grabs Cooper's body instead of him. I imagine if you were in this situation, I highly doubt you would be able to refrain from making any noise. Most likely you would scream, or at the very least jump and make more noise, leading the hunter right to you.
That was scary.
As Bauer is telling Lieutenant Peyton about the creatures on the ship, he starts to remember his wife, and he tells him that he wants to go find her, but the lieutenant talks him out of it. I would guess some of you would remain objective, but some of you definitely would not listen, and would put yourself and everyone else on the ship in jeopardy to go and find them. There is one upside when looking around the security room. Bauer does find a non-lethal anti-riot gun. Big emphasis on the non-lethal part. It's better than nothing, but it isn't really going to be your saving grace. Bauer finds Daryl hanging from a wire just like the corpse he found previously. After he cuts him down, he starts covering himself with grease and says it's to mask his scent, which is very valuable information. Also, it's another reason that the previous encounter with the hunter should have ended in tragedy. Soon after, we see blue light coming down the corridor. Bauer points his non-lethal weapon down the corridor. But Daryl tells him that that won't do shit, and they both start running away. They find Daryl hiding in a corner, which was a much better hiding spot than where Bauer was, but his plot armor saved him. Watching him get eaten alive by these things makes me glad that I would have died during the apocalypse back on Earth. Instead of using them munching on Daryl as a distraction, his dumbass fires his anti-riot gun and didn't realize there was glass between them. Several hunters start chasing after him. He falls into a trap and tries to hide by hanging onto the tubes running down the walls and the ceiling. Hunters soon find him and start pulling him up, but Asian Ex Machina comes in and cuts him loose. I highly doubt some stranger is going to come out of the woodwork and save you. Most likely you would just meet the same fate as Daryl. The next point where they should die is when they're waiting for Nadia to open the door. They get a power surge and that allows her to open the door. With my luck, the doors would open up right as I'm being dragged away. The trio soon reaches the hypersleep chamber, which also happens to be the main hunting ground for the hunters. They look inside the pods and find that most of them are empty. After climbing out of a pit that these ghouls use for waste, one of them spots our group and attacks. Conveniently, there's only one of them. Most likely it would be a group of them, and they would rip our trio here to shreds. But since there is only one of them, they get to team up on it and take it down. The leader of the ghouls waits very patiently for them to finish stabbing it to death before banging a pipe on the wall to call others to chase them down. As the group runs away, a pod opens up, and the unfortunate soul inside gets attacked by the ghouls right away and gets brutally killed before he had any chance to figure out what the hell was going on. Since this is where the majority of the pods are, this would be the most likely outcome for us if we had made it onto the ship. The three of them soon come across a large chamber on the way to the reactor, and they meet a man named Leland, who offers to cook for them, which is a huge red flag. Someone in this situation is not going to share their very limited food with them. While Leland is cooking, Bauer and Nadia start talking about where these ghouls could have came from. Nadia tells them that they were passengers on the ship that were given some sort of enzyme that should have helped evolve them for the planet that they're going to, but they instead adapted to the ship. Taking these most likely untested enzymes, and God knows what else they were pumping into you inside these pods, is another reason you aren't making it to the end of this movie. Leland starts talking to them about what took place on the bridge, which is that the crew members start to experience the effect of the condition Pandora. That is a side effect of long-distance space travel, which includes shaking and psychosis primarily. The crew received a transmission telling them that the Earth is gone and that they are the last of humanity. They scan for any signs of the planet, but they can't find anything. So much for surviving the apocalypse back on Earth. After that, Gallo kills the other members of the flight crew. He also wakes some of the other crew members and locks them in the cargo hold, leaving them no choice but to scavenge for food and eventually feed on each other. Gallo ends up putting himself back into hypersleep, and while he was out, the humans started to evolve into these ghoul-type creatures. As Leland tells his story, white smoke emanates from the walls. The group passes out, and when they wake up, Nadia concludes that he's going to eat them. After he stabs Nadia, Bauer convinces Leland not to eat them. This one I feel could go either way. He could believe you that the reactive core is melting down since the power surges seem to be more frequent, or he could think that you're just trying to fool him to save yourself and go ahead and eat you. So I would give you about a 50-50 shot on this one. On their way to the reactor, they come across a child ghoul. When Man goes to kill it, Nadia stops him. I know it's just a child, but this is really stupid. Anyways, it runs off screaming and getting the attention of other ghouls. Their stupidity here should have gotten them killed, but they get to live to die another day. The group arrives at the reactor room and sees that it is full of sleeping ghouls. Bauer accidentally wakes one up when he steps out onto the bridge, but his plot armor puts it back to sleep right away. As he crosses the bridge, it suddenly breaks. Man somehow catches it with his superhuman strength. I really doubt he would be able to hold this thing up, especially after Nadia jumps onto it to go save Bauer. More than likely he would drop the bridge, and then you would fall into the middle of the ghoul nest and get eaten alive, just like our friend Daryl here. My favorite part of the film is where Leland drops a flashlight and wakes up all the ghouls while Bauer's sneaking through them. I know this is the kind of shit that would happen to me. The unrealistic part is where Mange drops the bridge and starts yelling to get their attention so Bauer could safely cross. My ass would have got eaten while they left me here to die. Bauer manages to reset the reactor, and Man gets a one-on-one showdown with the ghoul leader. Man defeats the ghoul, then comes across the child ghoul. He starts to kill it, then decides against it. I like how in this movie he actually gets punished for his poor decision in this situation. You need to just...
We kill them all. Let God sort them out.
Or you're going to meet an untimely end. As Lieutenant Peyton is fighting with what you learn is himself. Leland enters and says he helped Bauer restart the reactor, and Peyton stabs Leland in the eye with the injector gun and walks back to the console. Bauer and Nadia arrived and confront Peyton. After a revealing monologue, they start to fight. Bauer starts losing it and hallucinating while Nadia and Peyton are still fighting. He fires his anti-riot gun at a ghoul that isn't really there, and a panel flies up and cracks the glass. It ends up breaking and water comes flooding in, so they run into a pod, and as it starts filling up with water, all the pods eject. Not sure why they did this, but whatever. They reach the surface and Bauer wakes up Nadia. More pods begin to surface, and it seems like they're going to get their happy ending. But I have some bad news for you. Your troubles are just beginning. You are on a planet you know very little about, with all kinds of alien creatures and no supplies. Some of the ship is protruding out, so you could go in there and try to find some supplies. but there's a good chance it's also crawling with ghouls, so your best bet would be group up and rebuild on the land. However, I think the locals might have something to say about that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you made it to the end, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, and also thanks for watching.